Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of Ringo TV Reactions. I'm your host, Ringo. We are back again with another live stream. Make sure you rate, comment, and subscribe. Yeah. Do what we got to do. Pull up, pull up, pull up. So guys, we are back again with another one. I had to go fix something real quick. I forgot to put my live chat on members only. But we have to talk about this video drop from Brandon Tatum, right? Because he pretty much put the so-called critics on blast and basically, now watch this, basically talked about somebody being arrested and tried to pin it on the black community as a whole. We got to talk about that as well. So give me a minute, guys. Let me post a community post real quick so I can get people back over here, guys. So again, make sure you rate, comment, and subscribe to the channel, guys. We got to talk about this, guys. Breaking news, breaking news. Brandon Tatum is back out there getting the people riled up. That's right, guys. Let me do this. Give me a minute. Alrighty, alrighty. Give me a second so I can sort this out, and we're going to begin. It don't take that long to hit the like button, guys. Let's go, let's go, let's go. So, hope everybody has a blessed evening. We got a lot of work to do. I'm going to also be on live again later on because I got to review these videos that are dropping. But I want to send this out. Okay, so I got the community post set up. All right. So, let's talk about it, guys. Brandon Tatum basically puts the critics on notice as well as talk about the black community because of someone that made threats. And I want to examine this because I told you already, guys, that I don't trust Brandon Tatum when it comes to the case of Nolan Wells. And I hope that this particular live stream will begin to make the viewers understand how serious this is, right? A lot of you believe that Brandon is doing an excellent job talking about the boys, but really, he's really focusing on himself in terms of financial gain and so on and so forth. If it wasn't for Brandon putting the boys out there, there would be no death threats. So Brandon Tatum needs to be held accountable for his greed for financial gain in putting the boys out there. This is what a lot of people don't understand. Brandon put the boys out there for YouTubers to cook. He knew it was it was a strategic plan. Put the boys out there. You know they're white. You know the grifters don't like white people. They're going to attack the white guys. They're going to do it. And that was Brandon's plan. So I want to roll the tape so you can hear exactly what he had to say. I'm going to point out a lot of different things to show you how toxic this is, because I'm not giving nobody a pass when it comes to the Nolan Wells case, especially people that are defending the boys when we don't know them. We don't know who may have killed Nolan Wells. We don't know whether it was a freak accident or somebody murdered him. We don't know. So why is Brandon Tatum going hard in the paint to defend these boys, but he's not even focusing on Nolan Wells? He's defending the boys more than Nolan Wells. Make it make sense, right? So let me get the video set up, guys, so we can get down to business, because I'm the only one that is brave enough to actually cover these things. Everybody else is scared. I'm not. So let's play this video clip as his video comes in. Let's get to the content. Let's go.
No resolution to what.
Hold on, let me rewind it back a little bit. This is a news story about somebody making threats and got arrested. Let's go.
With no resolution to what happened, his family and national civil rights leaders have raised questions of a racially motivated killing. A man living in this West suburban Berwyn apartment was arrested for allegedly making death threats to
Okay.
witnesses in the case to kill them.
Witnesses in the case, making death threats for witnesses in the case. That has nothing to do with black people as a whole. That's an isolated incident of somebody making death threats. But keep in mind, in order to make these threats, somebody would have had to put the boys out on social media for the people to hate them. Let's go.
In their homes and any cops.
Why does these white boys need attorneys? Y'all done put it out there.
No, not y'all. You did. You put the boys out there.
That people think they killed Nolan. And so people who think that these white boys killed Nolan, when there's no evidence that happened.
We know there's no evidence. We know that. But always remember, Tatum, you're the one who put the boys out there in the public. You did that.
Are now threatening to kill these white boys.
Nobody ain't killing them. Let's just let's make it make sense. Nobody's killing nobody. In order for that to happen, it would have happened already. You understand? These boys live in a predominantly white community. Ain't nobody doing nothing. You're basically trying to put that all on black people because you're buck dancing for the white man right now. Let's go.
Family, and they have been arrested. We've had people try it, review it, and the feedback has been absolutely.
Now think about this, guys. He's doing a video about Nolan Wells, and look what he throw in. Literally, guys, at this point in the video, it's at the 42-second mark in his video with a I Love Jesus hat on. He decides that he want to promote drinks.
Amazing. Whether you choose guilty or not guilty, you're
guilty or not guilty. Imagine this nonsense, guys. Just think about this. Right when you're supposed to be talking about Nolan Wells, instead, you're focused on promoting guilty or not guilty drinks. Make that make sense.
Getting a premium bourbon with flavor, style, and a brand that stands out.
Now, shouldn't you be talking about the fact that Nolan was drinking, that the boys were drinking, that everybody was out there drinking alcohol? How come you're not talking about that, Brandon? You got time to promote this mess. You got time to promote spirits, but you're wearing a so-called I Love Jesus hat. Imagine that. You are wearing an I Love Jesus hat while promoting drinks, knowing that Nolan was drinking and his buddies were drinking. Make that make sense. Make that make sense, man. At no point did Brandon Tatum even address the fact that Nolan had alcohol in his system. Why? Not even the parents of Nolan Wells is focusing on the fact that they had alcohol. And these are underage young men out at Horn Island drinking. Let's go.
Not guilty has the smooth sweetness people love, and guilty brings the bold.
No, you're guilty, Brandon. You're guilty. You're promoting this mess when we're supposed to be focusing on the truth. You're trying to get people drunk. That's what you're trying to do. Make it make sense, guys.
Classic bourbon character. All you got to do is go to verdictbourbon.com.
Wow.
Plead your age and face the verdict for your...
Plead your age? Are you serious? Guys, this guy is so irresponsible. You were interviewing young men that were underage and they were drinking. And look at what you're promoting on your platform, and you're wearing an I Love Jesus hat. Take that hat off, man. Take that hat off, because you don't love Jesus and you don't love the people. Take it off. You won't see Jesus online saying, hey, go to this website and get yourself a damn drink. Let's go.
Self. You must be 21 and older.
You must be 21 and older. But yet Nolan was 18 and he was drinking. How come you're not talking about that, Brandon? Brandon, how come you're not talking about Nolan Wells drinking? Why are you not talking about that?
Please drink responsibly.
Please drink responsibly. Did Nolan drink responsibly? Did Warren drink responsibly? Did Tristan drink responsibly? Tristan said that he was in a fight. Because why? He was drinking. Everybody was drinking. How come nobody's talking about that? How come Ben Crump not talking about that? How come you're not talking about that, Brandon? It's like everybody omitted all the real information. You see that, guys? It only takes RINGOTV to open up the eyes of the blind, fam. Let's get back to the content. Hit the like button. Let's go.
All right, super chat, $100 super chat. Thank you so much for Jared 40. You do an awesome job. Keep up the great work. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. Let's get to an arrest that was made. Now, mind you, when you're looking at this impartially and you're saying, why does these white boys need attorneys? Why are these white boys doing interviews? Why are their parents doing GoFundMe's and all this stuff?
Notice how you could see the anger. You know why? Because Brandon watched my content in the clouds. I'm the only YouTuber addressing Brandon. Everybody else, they just hate him. I'm addressing the issues that I see. Because what he does, he dances for the white community. And he's always putting black people down. It's like he would focus on an isolated situation and then pin it on everybody that's black. That's what Tatum is good for. So he's talking about why the boys got attorneys, why the boys got give, send, goes. They got it because you put them out there, Brandon, because you were greedy for money. You wanted a YouTube check. And you interviewed these young men knowing that the sharks were going to get them. Because as a content creator, you should know the outcome. You should know that if you put these boys out on Front Street doing interviews, the sharks are coming. So you knew what you were doing. You knew the backlash. You knew these guys were going to face death threats and all sorts of harassment because they're white. And that's the formula to your madness. That is how you're able to do your content. You put the little fish out there so they could be attacked by the sharks.
Y'all done put it out there that people think they killed Nolan.
No. You put the boys out there for the grifters. Let me put the grifters up on the screen, guys. Let me see if I could get the grifters. Let me see. I'm not sure if this is the grifter thumbnail. Let me see. Yeah, here we go. These are the grifters who've been lying on the boys, putting the batteries in everybody's backs for Nolan's friends to receive death threats. These are the guys. These are the guys and the gals that have been putting out nothing but lies and misinformation. These influencers that are in the background surrounding Brandon are the key players, guys, that have been doing a lot of content, interviews, spreading nothing but lies. These are the demons that have been putting batteries in the backs of people to make these boys' lives be threatened with harassment and death threats. And the thing is, Brandon knows this. He knew by interviewing these boys, I'm putting them at risk to be attacked by these sharks that are in the background. He knows that because he's a YouTuber. So if he was really careful about what he do and he was interviewing these boys, right? Number one, it would have been a good idea to blur their faces, perhaps alter their voices. You ever remember those shows from back in the days, guys, where a witness would come forward and they would alter their voice, but they would allow them to give their statement? Remember that? They would put them in a dark room and they would interview them and you wouldn't know who the person was. Well, how come Brandon didn't do that to protect the boys' images? No, he put them on Front Street. And that gave black people, these black influencers, everything they need to make sure that they put batteries in the backs of people. So now you got people getting arrested for making these death threats. And who's the main culprit responsible for these young men being targeted? Brandon Tatum. Because Brandon Tatum put them out there. He didn't have to do no interviews, but he was greedy for money. The greed for money made him put these white boys out there knowing the consequences, knowing that they're going to be attacked. And right now, he's trying to gaslight the viewers by making you think like, oh, well, this is the reason why these boys got attorneys. It's because of this, it's because of that. Now he's trying to blame black people as a whole, like, oh, it's all our fault. So everybody that's black, is our fault that these boys are being harassed and their lives are being threatened. It's because of black people, right? That's what you're trying to do. You're trying to dance for the white man. That's what you're doing.
And all this stuff. Y'all done put it out there that people think they killed Nolan. And so people who think that these white boys killed Nolan, when there's no evidence that happened, are now threatening to kill these white boys, their family, and they have been arrested.
Brandon, when you're talking, you got to be specific on who you're talking about. Let's go back to the grifter list. According to the grifter list, if you look, the woman that is in black and white on the image, her name is Jeanette. She's the one who altered the CETO call. and put out this narrative that Nolan was murdered on the boat. She claimed that all of these young people that was on the boat killed Nolan Wells, buried him somewhere, threw him in the water, whatever the case is, choked him out. And she claimed that Bart did it. Why? Because everybody was hearing Bart's name in the phone call, and it's because of that black woman that the entire internet started to accuse Bart of murdering Nolan Wells. And then, watch this, guys. And then that very same Jeanette was featured on Willie D. Live's broadcast. Let me see if I can get the receipt for you guys. You wonderful people. Check it out.
You wouldn't put yourself out there like that. You know, like you said, the FBI don't have to call you because they got the same tools or even better than you have, you know, in audio enhancement tools. So if it's there, they're going to find it. And I'm sure if they're interested in hearing the clean-up version, if they're interested in it, I'm sure that they already know what it says. They know, right? Mm-hmm. And it's no way possible that you can have that audio like that and not be making an arrest. And yeah, I said it. I ain't scared of you, motherfucker. I ain't scared of you at all. Yeah, I said it. Ain't no way possible you got that kind of information. At the very least, everybody on that boat got to be investigated. At the very least. One of y'all killed him.
Notice that Willie D. Live said that one of y'all killed him on the boat. And keep in mind, Jeanette, the woman who altered the CTO call, she's being interviewed by this grifter. You see that? Listen.
Know which one, but one of y'all killed him. That's right, I said it. One of y'all killed him. I don't know.
Everything.
She said on everything, meaning she believed that somebody on that boat killed him. So if those boys want to sue for defamation, they got a case right here with these two. These two belong on the list, at the top of the list, because they are declaring that Nolan Friends murdered him with no facts.
That's exactly why I did it.
I don't know which one, but one of y'all killed him.
She said that's exactly why I altered the audio. Why? Because she wanted to blame it on white people. And you have Willie D. Live saying that y'all murdered him. So he's declaring that Warren was a part of it. And everybody on that boat was a part of a cover-up after they killed Nolan. These people are saying it. And this is what Brandon Tatum should be pointing out. But he's not. He's not calling names. He's not exposing who's the main culprits. He's just focusing on being politically correct to make his money. He's not trying to step on nobody's toes. He's just trying to just do his thing. No, I call out everybody so you know who's who.
I don't know which one, but one of y'all killed him. and because it's more than one voice being heard, it's more than one person that's an accessory to that murder.
You see that? An accessory to that murder. So Willie D already became judge, jury, and executioner at this point.
And so that's why people are talking. That's why people are asking questions. That's why people are pointing fingers. If you don't want them to point the finger at you, then tell what you know.
Tell what you know. So I needed you guys to see this public record of Jeanette. So when you see this list, this is a list of the most diabolical content creators, guys. This list holds the main grifters in the Nolan Wells case. If you've seen any of these suspects anywhere, these are the main liars on social media that will lie for profit. They'll lie to make money. Everything they post is a lie concerning Nolan Wells. Think about that, guys. All they do is lie. Don Lemon is a liar. Even Nancy Grace pushed that interview, that so-called audio, the CTO audio with the text on it, which was very misleading to viewers. If you know it's not verified, if you know it's not factual, why would you air that? Why would you mislead the viewers? Knowing that you're going to alter their thoughts and make them agree with someone's interpretation. You can't take an interpretation and make it a fact. You can't do that, guys. So I need for you guys to pay attention to that. So when you see this guy on the screen trying to dance for the white community, he's trying to put all blame on everybody else as if though he don't have a responsibility or a part to play in why the white boys have been harassed and received death threats. It's all because of Brandon Tatum. If you would have never put them out there doing interviews, nobody would have ammo. Once these boys put their faces out there and put these messages out there, it's up for public scrutiny. And now people gonna go in. So you can't blame people for what they gotta say. You can't. What you gotta do is hold yourself accountable and be like, you know what? I take partial responsibility in the fact that me putting these boys out there is one of the main reasons why they're being harassed. I could have did this in a better way, but he's not gonna do that.
I've seen not one arrest on Nolan's family, although they're claiming there's a lot of threats against them. I accept that, but there's nobody that's been arrested. The threats have not gotten to the level where people can go to jail. This is now 4 or 5 people that have been arrested and threatening the boys. That was just his friends.
You can't see the play on how Brandon is doing this. Let me give you guys this. Let me slow it down because I know a lot of people, it's difficult for you to understand the basics. Brandon Tatum panders to the white community. This is what he is known for. This is proven facts, right? He knows that there are black grifters on social media that don't like white people. Brandon is the savior of the white community. His job is to do their bidding in terms of making sure that he make these white boys look good. His job is to defend them. His job is to protect them. That's his job. And he shouldn't be doing that. He shouldn't. His attorney's supposed to be doing that. As a content creator, you're supposed to be impartial in your judgment so that you're able to weigh both sides, weigh all the evidence and come to a conclusion. You're not supposed to be defending the white boys and you're not supposed to be defending Nolan's family. You're supposed to be looking at the case for what it is. But Brandon already took the sides. So what he's doing is he put the boys out there. He interviewed them knowing that the black influencers are grifters and they just want money because most of these content creators, they're motivated by greed. So when they do their content, they already picked a side. The black community that is on social media, I'm referring to primarily black content creators. They specialize in only defending black people at all costs. Case in point, Carmelo Anthony. Carmelo Anthony murdered Austin Metcalf in cold blood. He's guilty. He's a murderer. But what did the black influencers do on YouTube? They defended Carmelo. They defended the killer, not the victim. So Brandon already knew what would happen if he bring these white boys out. He knew. And again, if Nolan's friends were black, nobody would be talking about this case. Nobody would be talking about Mississippi as a racist state. Nobody would be talking about sundown towns. No one would be talking about nothing. Ben Crump wouldn't even be hired because he don't come around unless it involves white and blacks. That's the only time Ben Crump come around. So Tatum already knew that these boys were going to be harassed and they would receive death threats. And that gives him content. He know that. He know it's a strategy, guys. It is a forecast. It's no different than when you're playing chess. You end up knowing what your opponent is going to play before they play it. It's a game of chess. You understand? So he know that the black commentators are going to put out a bunch of misinformation that's going to put batteries in the backs of the degenerates of the black community, the people that have no lives and nothing to lose. All of these people that are being arrested, guys, that are black, they don't have no life. A lot of them have mental health issues, but that doesn't represent the black community as a whole. So Tatum is being irresponsible in his commentary.
At the island. Look at the news story. Roll it.
A man in southwest suburban Berwyn was arrested for making death threats against people who were involved in this unresolved case. Now our investigative reporter Chuck Gowdy in studio revealing that Berwyn man's violent history and has the first photos of this accused threat maker. Chuck.
You do, Allison. Stephan. The Berwyn man's name is Edward James Porter, now facing federal charges in the Nolan Wells case for allegedly threatening to murder witnesses and their family members. 33-year-old Porter is being transferred by U.S. Marshals to the courthouse down in Mississippi. Our investigation of Porter's past finds a Metro Chicago man repeatedly described by authorities as a threat to safety because of his numerous arrests for violence and saying he was going to shoot people.
Spillage pump stopped working. We're sinking.
The heat index was a broiling 105 during last month's July 4th holiday weekend here on Horn Island, Mississippi. 18-year-old Nolan Wells had taken a short boat ride with friends, but didn't return home with them. His body found 2 days later, face down in the water. With no resolution to what happened, his family and national civil rights leaders have raised questions of a racially motivated killing. And then, as NBC Chicago's investigation...
If Nolan Wells' friends were black, would they call it a racially motivated killing? No. And this is why the black community always get bamboozled, because we jump on board these cases because we're emotionally driven by color. If Nolan's friends were all black, nobody would be on this live stream to even care. No one. Because nobody cares about the death of Ken Liverpool. He died. All his friends were black. He drowned in the water. And Ben Crump didn't even mention that young man's death because there's no profit in it. You understand? Brandon Tatum, you never mentioned the death of a Ken Liverpool. What about that? How come you ain't talk about that situation, Brandon? How come Brandon Tatum haven't talked about the death of a Ken Liverpool? Because there's no profit in it, guys. You cannot promote racism. You cannot push the race card. You cannot divide people. That's what a lot of these black commentators do. It's either they dividing the community or they're pushing racism and hate. So when you look at Brandon, he's more or less the type of black guy that panders towards the white community, but he uses black people in order to provide content, to entertain the white community. You understand? In other words, let me just focus on all the negativity of these people, as if though he's separated from those people, because he don't like black people. If you really be honest, Brandon don't like black people. He don't. He loves the white community, and his job is to do everything possible to make them feel comfortable. And that is where we have the disconnect, because in the black commentators, they're racist towards white people. You understand? These particular content creators here, guys, these black content creators that you see in the background, they hate white people. They really do. I call everybody out, guys. Everybody get called out when I do my content. Rashad, Willie D, Judge Mathis, these are all black racists. They don't like white people. They hate them with a passion. Don Lemon is a hypocrite. He acts like he's pro-black, but yet he got to get on his knees at home to service his white husband. Imagine that. Don Lemon will be on YouTube acting like he defending black people, but have to go home to sing on his white husband's microphone. Think about that, guys. Think about how embarrassing that is. It's all an act. When Don Lemon was on CNN, he was doing the bidding of CNN towards black people. He was speaking down on black people as a whole. But once CNN got rid of him, he pivoted over into being a pro-black. And you folks brought him in and made him comfortable, not realizing that, number one, he speaks down on black people. He's married to a white man. And I'm not saying that you can't have an interracial relationship. At the same time, I feel that when you are involved in an interracial relationship, you have to have a responsibility on how you communicate. You can't be pandering to one group because you're not with the same, you're not married to somebody that's of your ethnic group. So you got to know how you communicate, because it can come off real bad. So when you look at photos of Don Lemon with his white husband, and then you look at how he's going in talking about, Mississippi is this and Mississippi history is racist. So why are you married to a white man, hypocrite? If white people are so bad and racist, according to Don Lemon, then why did he get with a white man? Why he ain't get with a black man? That's what I'm trying to show you guys. You see? And Brandon is going to pander to the white community because he's married to a white wife. So he has an interest in making sure he don't offend the white community, because that's how it be on social media. If you're black, you got to pander towards the black community in order to get support. That's how you make your money. You got to pander towards the black community. You got to tell them what they want. And if you don't, they be on this cancel culture thing. Well, we're going to cancel you. We don't like you. A bunch of hateful people, fam. And it's all racism on both sides. Both sides. You see? I checked somebody in my comments. They said something crazy, fam, in my comments section earlier. I got to do videos about that. I took screenshots. They don't realize that what they're doing is spreading some form of hate. Let me see if I can find this real quick, guys. Give me a minute. Let me see if I can find this, because let me address this thing. Let me do this thing right here, fam. Let me see if I can do this real quick. Where is that comment? Where is that comment? Okay. I think that's one. That's one comment. Where's the other one? That's one. I think I took it on my phone. But let's just address this comment here, guys. Let's address this comment, right? Because this is why, and you're gonna all agree when I do this. Matter of fact, let me do it this way. Right? Matter of fact, I don't have to do it that way. It's all public, right? Let's do this. I don't care how anybody feel. When you post stuff, you got to be responsible. Let's check this out. Kiki came into my comment section and says, I wish the white community would support the boys the way the black community is supporting his family. They have made over $1 million with all the private donations they have received. There is no telling how much they have actually received. So I respond and I says, that's a racist comment. Your comment is making matters worse. Saying you wish the white community should support the boys like black folks supported Nolan's mother is the reason we have so many issues. So you don't know the boys, but calling the white community to support them blindly, shaking my head, again, that's a racist comment. You really need to check what you post and how they look. Because here's the thing. She's saying she hoped or wished the white community would support the boys the way the black community is supporting Nolan's family. That's not the correct thing to say, because that's a racist comment. That's why we have the issue, because the black community is supporting Nolan's family blindly because of race. So why would you encourage the white community to do the same? That's not the solution. That's never the solution. Black folk are supporting Nolan's family not because they're black. That's a Filipino family. They're blinded by color. They don't know. They don't know the facts. That's why when Brandon had on, what's this guy? I think he had on Emmanuel, right? When he had on Emmanuel, and also Don Lemon had on Emmanuel, Emmanuel made it very clear that Mr. Wonsley is Nolan's stepdaddy. And when he uttered those words, everybody in the comments was like, stepdaddy? Stepdaddy? Why? Because they think that's his father. You see that? So it's comments like this that is causing more harm, because the white community should not be supporting those boys because nobody know what the facts are. You don't blindly just start throwing money in. That's the reason why people get kicked off of jury duty. Why? Because they're partial in judgment. They're biased already. They already decided who they're going to vote for. They already determine who they're going to rock with. If you say this and it's a court case, they're not going to put you on the jury list. They're not. Because you are only doing it because of race. So because the boys are white, you figure the white community should support them. That's a horrible thing to say. It's already bad what the black community is doing. They're led by their hatred for white people. So why would you encourage white people to do the same thing? And if you notice, the Give, Send, Go that the boys set up, they're not making a lot of money the way Nolan's family is, because the white community is probably looking at this situation like, look, I'm not sending my money. What the heck I'm sending my money for? I don't know these boys, you know? Now, in the case of Austin Metcalf and Carmelo Anthony, that's a whole different situation. Austin Metcalf's family and Carmelo's family was going at it. and it was a big war. So in that case, everybody was donating to the side that they felt was doing whatever. I didn't take no sides. I focused on the facts. And based on the facts, Carmelo Anthony murdered Austin, murdered him in cold blood. You get it? So at the end of the day, it's not me defending Austin. It's me focusing on the truth. There was no self-defense in that case, and he got 35 years. He should have got 50 years. He should have got more. But the black community was defending a killer. You know how crazy and sick that looked? That somebody's child died and you're defending the killer? If Carmelo killed somebody in the black community, would you be banding with Carmelo Anthony? Of course not. The only reason why the black community was siding with Carmelo is because he killed a white boy and the black community was happy about it. And that's hate. That is hate, guys. Absolutely sick. Let's get back to the content. Hit the like button, guys. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Let's go.
A man living in this West suburban Berwyn apartment was arrested for allegedly making death threats to witnesses in the case to kill them, anyone in their homes, and any cops. Porter is also accused by federal prosecutors of threatening to cut up one witness and stuff the remains into a suitcase. Now, NBC5 Investigates uncovers the first photo of Edward Porter. This picture is from the Cook County Jail in 2025. But records we've obtained show Porter's criminal history began years earlier, in 2011, with 24 arrests.
Think about this. White people so bad in America, and racism is so bad in America, that when a black boy died, black people threaten to kill people. Like, what? I just don't understand.
Do you see what he's doing? Now, you have to think about how this entertains white people that actually are racist. Because the good white people that are not on this racist mindset, they're not focused on this stuff the way Brandon is feeding an audience of people that like this stuff. There is a group of white people that love hearing stuff like this. And he knows what he's doing.
And then they go, the system is against us. Look at this mother track record. Look at his arrest record, bruh.
So, who cares about his arrest record? Do he look like a civilized man that has a family, that have a life, that have a job? We don't know nothing about this guy. This guy don't got no job. This guy is not a stand-up citizen in society. We know that already, Brandon. You picked the lowest fruit, the lowest rotten fruit on the tree to focus on in order to try to pin this on black people as a whole. That's what he's doing, guys. You could just look at this guy and see he got mental health issues. He don't got a decent haircut. Most likely wearing dirty clothes. He's at the bottom of the barrel. He don't got nothing to lose, right? So he's the bad fruit. And that's what Brandon focused on.
Some of y'all ain't had a job this long. Some of y'all ain't consistently been on a job this many years. He is consistently breaking the law and getting out of jail.
Brandon, he's at the bottom of the pit. This is not a guy that is in society with a family, a respectful member of the community. This guy have all sorts of problems. You're targeting someone who is most likely suffering from all sorts of issues. You could look at this guy and see that he's most likely into some sort of drugs. His mental health is not where it needs to be. But Brandon don't care because this is great content for people that hate black people. You understand? That's what he's doing here, guys.
What happened to black people when they get in trouble, they get wet? Look at this. Most of y'all watching have done nothing from 2011 to 2026.
Do you see what he's doing? So now he's saying that some of us that are viewing haven't done nothing just like this guy. And he's talking to black people. Keep in mind, he's not talking to white people because he wouldn't do that because he would offend his core audience. So he's not going to do that.
One thing, some of y'all ain't been married that long.
He's talking to black people that we haven't been married that long. All of this that he's doing, guys, is to address black people as a whole.
As to follow for domestic violence, breaking court orders of protection, and theft. A city and suburban drifter with no known ties to Nolan Wells or Mississippi. Porter had an Illinois firearm owner card and a handgun that were taken from him when police say he threatened his ex-girlfriend, quote, "I'm going to shoot you." Charges later dropped when she stood down, and it's not known whether the FOID card and gun were returned to Porter. But now, after numerous gun violence, assault, and threat charges by Chicago authorities, most later dropped because the victim wouldn't testify, Porter is facing his first federal charges, accused of inserting himself for unstated reasons into this death mystery in Mississippi. The case against him, according to U.S. investigators, has a trail of cell phone calls from Porter to Mississippi witnesses and IP addresses, all linking back to him and this Berwyn apartment where he was living. When Porter was arrested 11 days ago, Berwyn police accompanied federal agents with the Chicago FBI field office apprehension team. According to Berwyn police records that NBC5 investigates obtained under the Freedom of Information Act, Porter did not put up a fight. He's due at a Gulfport, Mississippi courtroom on September 3rd. That'll be the first time he's seen down there.
So strange that he even...
And keep in mind how Brandon have his drinks that he's sponsored with in the background so that young 18-year-olds can figure out a way of how to get it. And he's supposed to be a man of God, a Christian, a believer. He don't have a Bible in the background for you to buy, but he got some alcohol for you to buy. I want you guys to think about these things, guys.
This is the stuff that I be talking about. All right, let's get to some haters real quick because I want to put these people on blast so you guys can see the energy that I'm getting as it relates to, it's the random folks line as it relates to my coverage of Nolan Wells. I want to put this in perspective real quick. I saw the case like everybody else. I've seen the playbook 100,000 times of jumping to racism when race is not even apparent or there's no evidence of race. And then I'm watching it would appear to be innocent people being accused with no evidence. But, hey, that's not I don't know these people. I reached out to Benjamin Crump. Hey, Benjamin Crump, what can you tell my audience? What do you know? Because what it looks like to us is that there's no racism.
Ben Crump is not going to reach back to you because he already know the playbook you're running. You already burned that bridge down. We already know Ben Crump is a race hustler, an ambulance chaser. I don't like the guy. He's a race hustler. Why would you reach out to a race hustler to have a conversation? Think about that. So he's not going to reach out to you because you're going to interfere with his grift. But you're also a part of the problem because you interviewed those boys and put them on Front Street for them to be attacked because you knew this was going to come down the pipeline because that's what influencers do. Influencers influence people and put batteries in their backs, and then they become violent in the streets.
There's no impropriety yet. They don't respond. The other side responds. Hey, we would like to do an interview with you. They vetted me. We interviewed.
They vetted you and understood that you're the type of guy that they could use. You're the safe guy. You're the guy that the white community that likes to put out certain narratives, they could count on you, Brandon, because they know you're a good old boy. They know that. You're going to stay in your place. You're going to stay in line. They know that. That's why you're able to get on the news media. That's why when there's a case, they'll use your videos. They'll use your story because they know you're the safe guy. They're not going to use me. They're not going to clip my video. Oh, no. We're not going to promote RINGOTV. We're not going to do that. You'll focus on everybody else that nobody really cares about. But the people that are really speaking the truth, nobody's going to talk to them about anything.
I interviewed the kids. I put the interview out. People didn't even have to mention my name. I'm not a part of the interview. You can just listen to what the boy told me after I asked him questions. Make your judgment. But instead, I get so much hate and people saying I hate my own people and threatening to kill me because I interviewed white boys.
Who's threatening to kill you, Brandon? Because I didn't. I don't threaten nobody. That goes against YouTube's guidelines. So who threatened you, Brandon? How come they're not arrested yet if they threaten you? That's a crime. Making threats on social media is a crime. So who's actually doing that? See, the truth is nobody's threatening nobody. People use that as a cop-out in order to make things sound more dramatic. Oh, I'm receiving death threats. I'm receiving this. Guys, nobody ain't receiving anything. All these people are lying when they say that. You know, if they're receiving all these death threats the way they're saying, you'll have 50 people, 100 people arrested.
They said knew what happened to Nolan, killed Nolan. Here's some of the people that's ridiculously lying about the whole thing. Wrote a clip.
Did you catch this in Random Tatum's interview?
About anything else that was mentioned, thousands of lies, and now, oh, the audio comes back, and all of a sudden we can hear Nolan yelling in the background, screaming, you know, we're screaming about how he's dead. That's just a complete lie, and it's another lie.
Release the audio of the staged video then. Release it. That's a big slip up. It's a big mistake to say those words when you were actually there.
You know, the sad thing about this, guys, is that Brandon is a content creator. He's smart enough to understand that this woman, she's not even important. She's not a content creator. She's not an influencer. She's not somebody that is really in this business of content creators. It's just a random person with a damn phone running her big mouth, looking for some clicks and views. But he's using her as an example. Why aren't you using Willie D Live, Brandon? How come you ain't taking the clip that I post with Willie D Live and airing that out? How come you're not doing this, Brandon? How come you ain't taking this clip?
You wouldn't put yourself out there like that.
Listen.
If they're interested in it, I'm sure that at the very least, everybody on that boat got to be investigated. At the very least. One of y'all killed him. I don't know which one, but one of y'all killed him. That's right, I said it. One of y'all killed him.
Why Brandon is not using that clip? Why Brandon is not airing out Willie D Live for publicly saying that Nolan Wells' friends killed him? You bringing out this woman. Nobody gives a fuck about this woman here. Bring out the big fish on social media that's spreading lies. How come Brandon is not doing his damn job? You got over 1 million plus damn subscribers and you're not even doing your fucking job, bro. You out here using low-level fish like this is something relevant. Whereas you got the big fish all over social media lying and you ain't even addressing those issues. Were you scared of Willie D? You scared of a damn scammer? That's who you scared of? Say it ain't so, Brandon. Brandon is scared of Willie D Live, y'all. He's scared.
You wouldn't put yourself out there like that. You know, like you said, the FBI don't have to call you because they got the same tools or even better than
the FBI didn't even call Jeanette. You know why? Because they know she's full of crap. They know that already. If those boys really did something to Nolan on a boat, they would have been brought in for questioning due to that audio. Don't you understand that that's an emergency line? They monitor those lines. Those lines are verified and they check those things. You see? But no, he want to show little video clips with stuff like this. Makes no sense.
We have the video. We played the video. The reason we don't play audio is because some people are saying things and they're not involved. And some of the things that they're saying is maybe embarrassing to them and they're not involved in this. But Nolan is not on any of these boats that's in the video. To protect other people's privacy that have nothing to do with this case. That's the only reason why we haven't put the video out and played the audio, because other people's voices are in it. People are talking in the background, and it's not reasonable. Look at this bald head heifer.
Notice he called her a bald head heifer. Brandon Tatum called the black woman a bald head heifer. Now, I want you to think about this, guys. If a white man called a black woman a bald head heifer on social media, he would get canceled, lose his job, all sorts of things would come his way. But why is it okay for Brandon to do that? Why is it okay, guys? Why is it okay for Brandon to call this black woman a bald head heifer? That's okay to say? Why he's attacking her? She probably have some issue with her hair. She probably got cancer. It's all different. Why would you say that? You don't know her personally. Why are you attacking her like that? Because she's black? You figure it's cool to do? He won't do this to no white woman. He won't call a white woman a bald head heifer. but he do it to black women because it's entertaining to his viewers to say that.
Officer Tatum, I don't with you. And you know that. I don't know why you even like my post. Did you think that I was coinciding with you? You gotta be out your rabbit coon mind. Let me explain something to you. The only reason why I use your screenshot is because you say it's always two sides to a story. The side that you on is Casper the Ghost, and you ain't over here with Aunt Jemima. Let me break it down to your mother. Casper the Ghost is white and Aunt Jemima is black. Let's talk about it. You want so bad to make these white boys to be innocent, but what about that black boy named Nolan Wells?
Time out. I honestly believe that the white boys, in my opinion, the white boys and their family, in my opinion, based on what I've seen, I almost feel like they want justice for Nolan more than anybody else. They the ones putting themselves in jeopardy to do an interview, to tell what they know and what they don't know about what happened to Nolan. All right. All right. This bald head fool said this, but she used my content. And she was bashed.
He called her a bald head fool. Brandon Tatum called the black woman a bald head fool. See, that's called buck dancing for the white man. He won't say this about white women. Brandon would not call white women these names. The white community won't tolerate you disrespecting white women in that manner. But he figured it's okay to say this to black women, because nobody gives a fuck. He knows that. Nobody white is going to check him on that. But if he started to do this to white women, he's going to have to answer for those words.
People, because they were mad at her and she used my stuff. And the only reason she made this video, put her bald head self back on here. The only reason she made this video is because she was getting backlash from black people and she couldn't handle it. This fool went and took my picture and put it up there.
Anybody could use your picture, your video. It's all fair use. What the fuck you talking about, bro? You supposed to know that. You busy talking about her. Talk about me. Talk about RINGOTV, because I know you watch. Talk about me.
And mention that people cannot compartmentalize, and there's no evidence of a crime in this Nolan Wells case, which is consistent with what I'm saying.
We know there's no evidence that a crime took place. We know that. We know that the grifters are spreading lies. We know that too. But be accountable for your part. You put the boys out there in interviews so that people can criticize them. You know that's coming. You know this is not a safe space. You know how social media is. You knew that when you put them boys out there, all the black content creators were going to grill those boys. So you knew what was coming. And you knew that this was going to happen. So don't act like you're surprised. Be accountable for what you did. You're responsible for all of the hatred, harassment, and death threats that came to them boys. First, it started with Nolan Wells' mama putting their photo out there, right? She put the photo with the boys out there, and it made the black community started to turn this into a race issue. Them boys should have never came to social media. But no, they decided to do interviews and speak to the news media. You don't got to speak if you're innocent. If I didn't do nothing wrong to Nolan, I'm not talking to nobody, because you don't got no evidence that I committed a crime. So I'm going to exercise my rights and remain silent.
But then she get backlash and want to do this. This why y'all ain't ever going to be nothing.
He said, this is why y'all ain't going to never be nothing. He's talking to black people. That's how Brandon Tatum feel about black folk. Y'all ain't going to never be nothing. Have you ever encountered black people that talk like this about their own? Y'all ain't going to never be nothing. You're going to always be broke. You're going to always be down. That's why you don't got what I got. It's because they think they better than you and they look down on you.
I continue. Not her. Do the next clip.
The black community knows when it comes to the king of the this is the final boss. This wears a super cape for white folks. And listen, let's not get it misconstrued. I'm all for holding the black community accountable. I think everybody should be held accountable, regardless of race. And if you know anything about this podcast, the history of this podcast, I've always held my own people accountable. But what I won't do is just make it seem like what he's doing, which is he only holds black people accountable. Everything you do is about black.
I want y'all to go after this video and look at my social media and look at all of my social media. These people are so deranged. It's crazy to me.
These people, when you hear somebody, these people, he's excluding himself from these people because he don't see himself as a black man. He really don't. He see himself as white. He really do. These people, he call them. These people.
What happens is when you are a community of people that want no accountability, when someone mentions accountability for you, you flip out and you make it all about you.
First of all, if you're going to address someone that's black that did something, you address the person. You don't address the community. You understand? See, I'm tired of people saying addressing the black community. I live in a mixed community with white folk, black folk, Africans, all different types of people. So I'm not in the black community. So when we use that word black community, what the fuck does that mean? Because we don't agree with one another. We don't even like each other. To be honest, when you see somebody commit a crime, why is it that you label the whole black race as if though that person that committed the crime, it's our fault and we should have did something about it? How the hell I know that person's going to commit a crime? That has nothing to do with me. I'm an upstanding citizen. I'm a father of 4 girls. I take care of my responsibilities. I don't got no criminal history. I've never been arrested a day in my life. So whatever anybody that's black do on the outside, that got nothing to do with me. So why is it that he talks in a way as if though we don't want to be accountable for anything? We. What the heck does somebody else's issues got to do with me? Nothing. Let's go.
If you look at my social media, I hold everybody accountable.
No, you hold black people accountable and you blame everything on the black community, and you might have a few videos here and there that you might address white people, but that's typical of what a grifter do. Meaning there's more content on your platform that deals with blacks than whites. And you know that because it's more profitable for your white audience to view content that is entertaining. Do you really think your white audience want to see content where you're constantly talking about white people? Oh, white people are not educated. They're in prison. They're in and out of jail. They got felonies. White folk don't want to hear that junk every day. You know that. So they won't have a problem if every now and then you make a story about white people. They won't have a problem with that. But if you got online every day talking about, oh, these white people are this and they're not educated and they're just never going to be nothing, you think you're going to have a white audience? They're not going to listen to you no more. So you got to entertain them with black stories. It's bad enough we're divided. It's bad enough there's a lot of hate in the world, but you're not adding no more value to anything. You're just spreading more hate because you're making it seem like anybody that is black is a problem. So when white people hear you, it makes it seem like any one of us, if you're black, especially if you're a black man, that you're just a toxic animal with felonies and you're just ready to commit crimes. And that's not the case. You got a lot of good, upstanding black men, working men, fathers, business owners, entrepreneurs, educated men that are doing their thing. And you never address that. You take the degenerates, the bottom feeding pits of the community, the people that are not even doing anything, and you paint them as the image of the so-called black community. That's what you do. So what Spears is pretty much focused on here is like, look, we're not saying we don't take accountability, but we know what you're doing, Tatum. We know what you're after. You're after that white dollar. And you know, in order to make that dollar, you got to focus on putting the black man down.
When you cutting up, you cutting up. White police officers, black police officers. White politicians, black politicians. Democrats, Republicans. I call everybody out. And to be this stupid and to be a grown man to say that I only call out black people is crazy. The difference is when I call out a white person doing something wrong, I feel like white people generally, hey, we don't claim that person. Black people, a man can kill 400 black people, and a white cop kill him in a justified shooting. Black people mad at you.
Well, not black people. You could say viewers that we don't even know. Because I see this all the time where black people will do things, commit crimes of violence on other groups. And it seemed like the black viewers that listen to these cases, they tend to side with the killer. And there's no accountability. And again, we look at the case of Carmelo Anthony. Carmelo killed Austin Metcalf. And all of social media was banding behind Carmelo. And he's a killer. He's a killer. So in that regard, I understand that point. But you're generalizing this on black people as a whole as if though this is what we all do. And that's not the case. There's a lot of black folk that condemn these actions. And we don't tolerate this bull crap. But for some reason, you highlight the degenerates that are supporting it, and you make it seem like that's what the black community embrace.
I wrote a whole book about police incidents where I criticize police and I criticize suspects. And these ignorant Negroes.
These ignorant Negroes.
Can't help themselves but say, all he do is talk about, I wish we could pull up my Instagram. I know we can't. We won't run out of time to do it. Scroll down my Instagram. Hold on. Is there a way to pull up an Instagram up and scroll it?
By the pure fact he's trying to prove that he talk about white people is a cop-out. You don't have to prove something if you do it. You don't have to prove nothing. So what? You talked about a story here and there. That doesn't mean nothing. I guarantee you got more stories against black people than anybody else. Just call it what it is. See, I got a black wife. You got a white wife. So at the end of the day, we know what your agenda is, and that's just the truth. And you've been doing this for years. You don't care about the truth. You care about the dollar. You don't even care about Nolan Wells' friends. You care about the dollar. That's why you release the interview with clips. Part 1, part 2, part 3. Why? You're trying to maximize profits. Why don't you just release the interview full so people can get full context straightforward? No, you want money. That's the goal.
Probably not. Will, let me keep talking and then we can try to stand by. I just want y'all to see the perspective of what's going on. Like, on YouTube, we're covering the Nolan Wells case, so most of it is about Nolan Wells. But the general rule of thumb of what I do on social media, and I'm going to let y'all be the judge when we scroll the Instagram, and you tell me, out of all the breaking news clips, do you see it just being holding black people accountable? God of mercy. But roll the clip.
Shame. Is some of it warranted? Absolutely. But both sides. I don't know what it is about white pussy to make you forget who you are. And I'm not against interracial love. Love and loyalty is hard to find. So wherever you find it, love it, embrace it, do your thing. But not at the expense of you kicking the shins out of black people and pulling the rug from under us.
But the black people I do support, they blind to it. All the black Republicans that I campaign for, that I support, that I endorse, that I celebrate, they hate them, so those black people don't count. All of the black men that I post about that do incredible things, all the other black conservatives that follow me, that we share each other's content, they don't count. They not black. They don't count. If I support them, I love them, I elevate them, they don't count.
Those people are in your special group. Those people benefit just like you benefit. Those folks are invited to the cookout. You don't talk about regular working black men, people that are on the everyday hustle. You don't ever talk about them. You talk about other people that you can benefit with, people you break bread with. That don't count.
These people are so stupid.
These people are so stupid. So right there, he just said black people are stupid. That's what Brandon just said right there. Interpretation. These people are so stupid. Remember, Ari Spears is talking. All he had to say is Ari Spears is stupid. But no, These people are stupid. So he's calling black people stupid.
Ever to know. Can we do it on the computer here? Let me see. Let's keep going. Let's go A6.
The MAGA effect is in full effect. Let me tell you why.
And this guy on the screen is a clown. This is some guy, I think his name is something Sam, Secret Service Sam, some crap. This guy's a grifter. He been grifting during the the Carmelo Anthony case. He's the type of guy that panders towards black folk in order to get black views. You understand? And notice, these are the people that Brandon used clips of. These people. He don't show the things that I say because it's too intelligent for him to actually review. He showed these people because they're all in one big pool of grifters that they love to go to their platforms to get their content because it's profitable. These people are not holding nobody accountable. They're just trying to get their clicks and views as well.
Just saw the interview with Officer Race Tatum and now the four boys, which is insane. So here, number one, here's how the MAGA effect works. They have to first become the victim and convince the whole world that they are the ones that are being victimized.
And remember, the majority of Secret Service Sam viewers, they're black. It's not white folk that follow him like that. It's black people. It's black folk, fam. Because he's singing the language they love.
Right? Not so much. Now they're going to sue the world. They can't do a GoFundMe because that's not going to work. They have to do a Give, Send, Go because that's the only platform that will let people like this actually grift off their best friend's unaliving.
And I got to agree with what he said there because everybody's grifting, guys. Nolan Wells' family is getting rich and Nolan's friends are basically doing the same thing. Everybody's trying to get money off his death. Think about all the money everybody's making off of Nolan's death, y'all. That's sick.
It's them against the world. What do they think? They're Tupac? Not. They're no Pac. Now, they have that bogus-ass list of influencers and media and all these people trying to get justice for their best friend. They've raised $165K. That is not enough money by a long shot to sue like all 85 people they want to sue for defamation. By the way, you cannot sue for defamation until this process is completed and we actually know what happens to know if anybody is actually lying. Now, they go on the conservative Officer Race Tatum's podcast. They have TMZ now playing in their pocket, all MAGA-driven media, ABC, CBS. It is all about the optics that are being orchestrated, allegedly, by somebody else. We don't know. Now, they say there's no race involved. There's no race involved in Mississippi. This is like going to the Playboy Mansion with a bop and everybody says you're the one who dirtied the grotto water. Does anybody believe in that? It's you, Mississippi. Wow, we continue to see people hung, people killed in Mississippi. You're still playing in our faces like Mississippi doesn't have a disgusting history?
Now, think about the style of this guy. His style and delivery is what attracts black people to click on his videos. That's how he get his bread and butter, guys. It's all one big grift. You have to pander towards a certain group in order to make the money. He can't, listen, Sam cannot do this towards the white community and really grow. It's not going to work. They know the method by which he's using. It's going to affect black folk to view his content and be like, wow, a white guy really standing with us. Wow, we support you, Secret Service Sam. You're such a good old Samity Sam. We love you, Sam. That's what's going on. And he knows that.
Everybody is focused on Horn Island, and literally Nolan is being buried every single day over and over.
All right, I'm
instead
tired
of
listening
focusing.
To this weirdo. These people are stupid. Why would they get attorneys? Because they're being sued. Nolan's parents sent them a letter telling them they need to preserve text messages and phone records and all kind of other stuff in preparation to sue them. That's why they have a defamation attorney.
Sue for what? If they're innocent, they're innocent. The burden of proof is on you to prove something. So they could go ahead and do everything, because once they do everything and nothing is there, then I can sue them. See? It's all one big hustle, guys. Nolan's parents cannot target the boys and say, we're suing you guys. How? With no facts. You just can't blame me for your son's death because we're white. You can't do that. That don't make no sense. There's no evidence. So how could you sue? Sue for what? You can't do anything.
I'm trying not to get upset about this stuff. It's just people, I can't believe people are so stupid.
Brandon, didn't you say that you're not going to talk about Nolan's mother or Mr. Wonsley no more? That's what you said when you were talking to Emmanuel. You broke your promise. You're still talking about Nolan's mother. You're still talking about them.
I just can't believe it. Like, I can't believe that people questioning me in this whole thing.
Because you're a grifter too. We could see it. We know what you're doing. You're acting like you're a good guy. I already called you out from the beginning. Once I started realizing that you were taking the sides of the white boys, I knew you were full of shit. I knew it. You went in on the parents. You were against the parents, and then you took the boys' side. You don't know those boys. You know good and well with the Daniel Irvin situation that he was a black guy, and he drowned, and his white friends tampered with evidence. These were his friends. So what makes you think that Nolan's friends can't possibly tamper with something? We don't know them. And I don't give a fuck about his attorney with all this defamation bullshit. I'm going to speak my mind because I never accused anybody of murder. I'm making a valid point. Daniel Irvin's friends tampered with evidence to cover things up, to make it look like they weren't there. And those were his friends. So why wouldn't Nolan's friends possibly do the same? We don't know those boys. We don't know what could have been covered up, tampered with in order to hide so that they don't have blame. We don't know. So for you to take those boys' side without knowing anything, that's disgusting. That means you already declared them innocent with no facts. If there's no facts that they murdered Nolan, then there is also no facts that they're innocent. So why you took the side claiming their innocence? Why? If there's no facts. Because you're partial in judgment. Let's go.
Because I interviewed somebody. We'll skip over this. That dude is a weirdo.
Everybody's a weirdo to him. Am I next? Am I next? Brandon, are you going to show a clip of me next? Because I didn't review this video till now. I'm viewing it live while I'm, interacting with the chat and talking to the viewers. Am I going to come up next in the clip of me talking about you? Or do you use these people that are easy targets?
I don't even want to give him any airtime. Maybe we'll do some stuff on Umar Johnson.
Oh, my goodness. Now he's going to talk about Umar Johnson. Why you ain't mentioning me? Because I'm the intelligent one that actually makes sense. Everybody else are grifters. Umar Johnson is a grifter. That's why Umar Johnson is a part of my list of influencers. You see him there at the top. He's part of the grift list. Umar Johnson don't care about the black community. He just want to make money. That's it. That's why he made the list. He made the cut. Let's get to the content.
Before we get there, I want to tell you guys to go to TatumStore.com. Tatum Store.
Now you want us to go back to Tatum Store so we could buy alcohol? But you're the same guy that says you love Jesus? Imagine this, guys. We're supposed to be talking about Nolan and the case. He's telling us to go to a store so we can make purchases and scan codes and all this other crap. This guy is not focused on the case. He's focusing on money.
RINGOTV.com if you want some really cool merch. I love Jesus.
Fuck your merch. Fuck all of that. Talking about Jesus merch, and you over here grifting and trying to rob the people. Have some nerve to be telling people to go buy merch when you're supposed to be focusing on the facts of the case.
And I have to love Jesus and pray every single day to keep my mind sane.
Your Jesus is not even helping you with this case. You understand? Everybody's praying, but ain't no answers being given.
I want to go off the handle and cuss people out and everything and threaten them.
Oh, so you want to threaten people. Think about what Tatum just said. He want to go off the handle, cuss people, and threaten them. Let's rewind that back. Listen to what he said.
Store.com if you want some really cool merch. I love Jesus. And I have to love Jesus and pray every single day to keep my mind sane. I want to go off the handle and cuss people out and everything and threaten them.
You see that? So Tatum have the same evil thoughts of the black guy that was arrested. So who the fuck is Officer Tatum? How could Tatum judge that black guy that was arrested for making threats against the boys when he just said he want to cuss them out and threaten them? So Tatum want to threaten bodily harm against people that are his detractors and critics. But it's okay for him to say that, but he want to trash black people who actually did what he's afraid to do. Make that make sense. He's a hypocrite, y'all.
I don't do it because I love the Lord.
You don't do it because you love the Lord? You're a hypocrite. You don't love no Lord. You love money.
He keeps me accountable. Go to Tatum Store if you want one of these shirts or any of our other cool merch.
Everything is about money.
I'm going to have to jump quick to an interview, but...
And we still got to review this particular tape. Remember, I did part 1. We got to get back to it with part 2. I think I'm going to probably tackle this later on tonight. I'm going to get back to the Umar thing, and I'll tackle the interviews with Tatum later on. I might do 2 live streams. It all depends on how I feel, guys.
Umar Johnson is the stupidest man. And I feel like a lot of people in the black community don't think he's a problem. I'm a problem, but he's not a problem.
I don't support Umar Johnson because he's a grifter too. So don't try to shift the blame on him. We in the so-called black spaces, we know that Umar Johnson is just focused on getting money. I call him out all the time. So why are you using him as a comparison?
The clip.
I believe Nolan was deceased before he hit the water. And the reason they held on to the throat tissue and the reason they held on to the lung tissue is they didn't want nobody to know that Nolan was murdered before he hit that water.
Now, we already know Umar Johnson is not educated. We know that. This is the same guy who said he's a descendant of Frederick Douglass. It's a damn lie. He don't understand how autopsies work. You see? But let's go.
Just like Emmett Till was murdered before he hit that water.
They always bring up Emmett Till. Always. And he said before Emmett Till hit the water.
Just like Dr. King's brother, A.D. King, was murdered before he hit that water. Remember, Art, when Dr. King's brother was murdered, Reverend A.D. King, they found him in a swimming pool.
To put the math equation together, why would the district attorney, for the medical examiner, risk his or her, I believe it could be a her, risk her entire career to lie about one kid? And we already know that Warren, whose stepmother is a judge, wasn't there. Jax wasn't there. Morgan wasn't there. Bart has an attorney and he's suing out of all y'all that lied on him. He had nothing to do with it. So we know all the boys that they put out on the media. Katie, it appears Katie has nothing to do with it. Everybody that they put out there in the media seems to have nothing to do with it.
Actually, it was Warren that put Katie out there, Brandon. He did that on your interview. He didn't need to put Katie's name out there, but he threw Katie under the bus. Warren did that. Warren put Katie on blast. Nobody knew about Katie. Nobody knew that Nolan was with a girl named Katie. You could have kept her identity, name, and everything, anonymous. But you aired that into the public. Why? Why did you do that, Brandon? That's irresponsible. And the reason why Warren threw Katie under the bus was to paint a narrative that, hey, we left. Nolan was with Katie. So y'all need to blame Katie for anything that, with Nolan. We don't have nothing to do with it. So basically everybody was trying to shift blame.
So why would the medical examiner lie, risk her career and go into prison to lie about one kid?
You're using people like Umar Johnson. Umar Johnson is a grifter. That Art of Dialogue platform is a grift channel. Why don't you call out the channel that hosts Umar Johnson? How come? Are you afraid to say that? Are you afraid to call out the Art of Dialogue? Because they had him on. They know what his methods of his madness is. This is the thing about these content creators. They're all fake. They don't call out the platform that published the bullcrap. He's focusing on Umar. For Umar to be there, he had to get paid by that platform. That platform understand what the grift is and how to manipulate the viewers. He knows the game. Tatum is playing dumb, like he don't understand how social media is. This is why I call everybody out, fam. That's why they hate me.
That was an incredible kid that everybody loved. That it appears that nobody did anything to. He just drowned. Let him finish.
They ruled it a drowning. And then one of the paramedics said what, Art? One of the paramedics who took Dr. King's brother out the pool, Art, said he didn't have no water in his lungs. They kept the throat because it may have shown some trauma that Nolan may have gotten choked out. And then you got the red substance around the back of the head that the DC medical examiner discussed.
He didn't discuss
We don't know
anything.
if Nolan got hit in the back of the head. We don't know if the blood simply drained to the back of the head. But
pause. Let me tell you what these mindless people, what the problem is, what they don't do is they don't go to the next step. They do this in Charlie Kirk's case. You said he got strangled and murdered. Describe how did that happen? If he got strangled around his neck, are you saying somebody grabbed his neck? Or you said somebody tied something around his neck? If he's somehow strangled, he's going to have damage to the external part of his neck. If somebody, and you think a 6'3" potential NFL football player is going to let a little scrawny white boy hold his neck like this and choke him out and then throw him in the water. I've been around those boys. They not that big. Nolan seemed like he was big. He's a football player. And they somehow choke Nolan out like this, squeeze his neck, chokes him out. Then he's on the boat, dead. You can't, on the call, there's no evidence how he died, but he dead. Just say he dead. And the call is alluding to the fact that these people are surprised that he's dead, right? So you got the girl and others, he's on a boat, and they're surprised.
Listen, all of this we talked about. We here at RINGOTV do not teach or promote any of that bull crap about Nolan being on a boat dead. We already debunked that crap that Jeanette put out with that phone, that dispatch call from Cito, right? So we're not buying into those lies. We debunked all of those lies. We're most likely one of the only platforms that debunked the lies. All of these other grifter platforms, they were publishing the lies. They don't care as long as they're making money.
That means that he died somewhere else but the boat because they didn't witness him die because they sound surprised on his fake narrated call. And then they don't get to the next conclusion of how did somebody kill him. But then while he's struggling and while people are panicking and screaming that he died, Wyatt calls Cito.
Yeah, nobody would call Cito if somebody's on the boat dead. We already talked about all of this. This is why if Nolan's friends are suing anybody, Jeanette is supposed to be at the top of the list. The woman in the black and white. That's why I put her in black and white, because she's a main suspect in a lot of the mess that's going on. By her putting out those lies, it made the boys get targeted even more, especially Bart, because he had absolutely nothing to do with nothing. And the internet accused him of killing Nolan Wells. They was going literally making videos saying that Bart did it. That's what they were doing all over social media. Let's go.
So he could be on a recorded line with evidence of him killing somebody in the background.
Nobody killed Nolan on no boat. If he was getting killed, you would have heard Nolan in the background. So that doesn't make any sense. But something happened to Nolan. And what people need to understand is, just like in the Daniel Irvin situation, evidence were tampered with. Those were Irvin's friends who tampered with evidence because they didn't want to get in no trouble. What I'm trying to make the public understand is that we don't know Nolan's friends. We don't know if they're innocent, and we don't know if they're guilty. We don't know. So to go around claiming that they're innocent because they're white is crazy. We don't know if they had any involvement with covering something up. Maybe they didn't murder Nolan Wells. But could something have been tampered with? Could they have had knowledge that he died and decided to leave the island? Because everybody started to leave early. If you really think about it, everybody started to leave early. Why? I thought it's the 4th of July and everybody's hanging out. It don't make no sense, fam. Absolutely no sense at all that people would even leave at that time. It don't make no sense. And it's almost like, hey, let's leave. Let's do what we got to do so we could get on out of here. It don't make no sense. Let's go.
On a boat that his foot could probably touch the end of the boat. Or at least if Nolan was on a boat, he could touch his foot to the boat and be driving it with his foot at the same time. He called him. He know what CETO is. He got a membership with CETO. They're after all the time. They know it's on a recorded line. I bet you $1 million that when you call CETO, they tell you it's on a recorded line.
Of course they tell you that. Just like if you call any line for quality assurance. But on an emergency hotline, those lines are very serious. And they record them in stereo where you can isolate either channel. That's why I keep saying that woman didn't do no work with that audio, because the audio was already in stereo. You understand? I already made videos covering how you can alter the audio in terms of isolating one channel from the other so you can hear the details of the audio. All they did is increase the volume of the silent parts, and it's muffled. There was no murder in the background. We already debunked all of that garbage.
Or you know it's on a recorded line because it's an emergency. Got a dead man in here, they call it CETO. They know they killed Nolan, they call his mama. Hey, do you know what Nolan's at?
Yeah, let's talk about that, Tatum. Shout out to Monica for the support, and Zato for the support. Appreciate y'all sponsoring the show. If you like my content, guys, be sure to super chat, hit the Cash App, all of that. Let's get to this thing, guys. He brought up the fact that the Warren called the mother. Why would Warren call the mother and ask, have you heard from Nolan, if they got his phone? Think about that. Why would Nolan call his mother? Shouldn't he call his friends? See that? That was a mistake that Warren did. Warren should have never did that, but he did that to create the alibi. In other words, look, I was one of the first people to call Nolan's mom, to call the Coast Guard. I did all the right things. Well, that's typical of what you'll do if you're trying to cover yourself. You see? Normally, the one that is making all the phone calls first, that's the one I'm going to question. And I question that because out of all of Nolan's friends, why is it that Warren seemed to be the one that's making all the calls? How come nobody else was making calls? You guys got to look at that and examine it and say, wait a minute, Ringo, you're right. How come all of Nolan's friends weren't calling his mother or calling the Coast Guard? Why was Warren the only one that had any concern about Nolan's whereabouts? Why? Could Warren have saw something? Could Warren have been one of the only ones that's seen something happen? Could it be? See, these are the questions that you have to ask, because we can't accuse him of killing Nolan because we don't have no facts. But I normally question who's making the phone calls. Asking the mom, have you heard from Nolan, in my opinion, is a sign of guilt. It's a sign of guilt. Because you know Nolan don't have his phone. And I don't want to hear that crap of, well, Nolan could have used somebody else's cell phone. Well, why would he call his mom? He would call his friends. That's the first group he's going to call. So why would you ask the mom, have you heard? That's horrible to call a mother and say, have you heard from Nolan, when you guys are supposed to be his buddies, protecting him. You understand? Hit the like button. Let's go.
Looking for him. They know he dead. They go, hey, we have his phone. Y'all can come get it. They put him out there. They go look for Nolan. Then they go do interviews. Their lawyers let them do interviews, but they killed Nolan. You can't be that stupid.
This is crazy, fam. But anyway, it is what it is. Look at him exposing more merch for you to buy more junk. You see what I mean? This is what's so sad about this situation. He don't care about the case with Nolan, fam. He care about the money. The money is what's important. Making the money so that he can maximize profits. And that is what's the name of the game, guys. That is the name of the game. So we're going to pretty much get up on out of here, fam. Do what we got to do. We'll be back on later with more content. I got to go get something to eat. And that's about it. So leave your comments, guys. Let us know what you think of the video. Shout out to all my haters. Shout out to all the people that talk about me all day long. Appreciate you guys spending a lot of time mentioning my name. And shout out to all the new viewers, new subscribers, new supporters that rock with the platform. Without you, we can't do what we do. So that being said, we'll catch you later on, guys, with more content, and keep you informed with what's going on in these YouTube streets in regards to the case. And it is what it is, guys. Absolutely diabolical what's going on with Officer Tatum. He's literally trying to do damage control because he know that I'm speaking on these particular issues and whatnot. But yeah, he has a problem with criticism, and he don't want the community to know that he's pandering towards the white community. He really is. He's the one who put the boys out there. He's the one doing interviews. He's the one making people attack them because he's putting them in the spotlight. It would be better for them boys to just stay quiet. If they're innocent and they didn't do nothing wrong, there's no need to defend yourself because you didn't do nothing wrong. When you have to make interviews and you got to defend yourself and you got to talk, it's a red flag. I don't care what nobody say. It's screaming red flag. They may not have murdered Nolan, but when you got to do this much interviewing, it's a sign of guilt. It's a sign of, we know what happened to him, but we're afraid we're going to get in trouble. And think about it. Tatum is defending them. If it ever come out that those boys had something to do with tampering with evidence, possibly covering something up, and it comes out, Tatum, your career on YouTube is over because you defended them when you don't know them. You know, and you're literally banding with this defamation case because it's funny to you, you know, but you act like your hands are clean and innocent. No, your hands is dirty too. So rate, comment, and subscribe, guys. I'll catch you all in the next video. RINGOTV Reaction salute you. It is what it is. Best reactionary channel on YouTube, hands down. I'll catch you all in the next video. RINGOTV Reactions. Make sure you rate, comment, and subscribe to the channel. RINGOTV, the #1 reactionary channel on YouTube, putting in work since 2006 till now. Rate, comment, and subscribe, guys. Hit the like button, the notification bell, and we'll catch you in the next episode. I'm out. You take care. Peace and blessings to the mods in the chat. Forever Studios, Caramel Kimmy Kim. Shout out to all the channel members, all the new subscribers. We appreciate you here at RINGOTV. I'll catch you in the next one. I'm out. Peace.
If you like our content, consider supporting via Cash App at $RingoTV Raw. Become a patron on patreon.com for exclusive video content not shown on YouTube. You could also support through PayPal at paypal.me/RingoTVRaw. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and click the bell to be notified of new content. Follow me on Instagram at RingoTVRaw.
This is Ringo TV Reactions, the only channel on YouTube bringing you the truth 100% raw.